Our friend Richard Toccato, the Richard Toccato Companies is here. 704-800-4719. So what's up with the feds?
The feds have lowered the rate at more than we thought they would. So that means it's a time to refinance your home. Get out of your high mortgage rate that you received over the past few years when you bought a house. We'll do a rate and term. It's very simple, very inexpensive, and you won't even have to have a house payment until 2025.
It's crazy. So call them today, 704-800-4719 or homewithrichard.com for the Richard Toccato Companies.
Richard Toccato Companies, Equal Housing Opportunity, NMLS number 38652.
Welcome to the TJ Fanatico's Podcast.
Oh. 'Tis the season. Spooky season.
Ooh. Ooh.
And you want to know what's spooky? Yesterday morning when I got here, there was a coffee mug sticking out. It was just floating in the air out there in the little coffee cubby thing in the hall. I was like, ooh. Turns out, though, it was Riggins holding a cup out there and moving it around, trying to scare me. Well, it worked.
Spooky Seeds and Pranks, you know. That's my middle name.
So it's Friday at the time of this recording, and this is pretty much the last thing we have to do work-wise for the week. And then we're going to be out of here for the weekend. That's what everybody's been working for.
Right.
The weekend, you know. And what are you doing this weekend, Riggins?
I'm going to watch some football tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be a beautiful day, so I got to cut the grass. I'm going to be outside.
Mm-hmm.
Spectacular, 70 degrees sunny. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah. Jody and I are going to Charleston for a weekend's worth of wedding activities for our friends whose daughter is getting married there. And have to wear a suit, the whole thing.
Sure. Yeah.
I used to love wearing suits and all. Then I got fat, and no fat guy looks good in a suit.
I hear you.
Because no fat guy ever looks comfortable in a suit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mm-hmm. You assume that they're not comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you have a nice suit and you're thin, it does feel good.
Mm-hmm. It does. And I still have all of my good suits that are there because I'm going to get in them one day. They may be out of style, but I'll get back in them.
Yeah. You ever check the waist size on those pants? You go, there's no way.
Well, it's more the jacket too, you know.
Jacket, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That athletic cut suit. That's what I always wore, the athletic cut.
I have a suit from Express, which wasn't super expensive.
Yeah.
But it looked so good, and it was thin, and love to get back into that.
All right.
Well.
Wah, wah. So we got the red flags women should look for and stay away from men's if you got these red flags. Number 5 was guys who say all his exes are crazy. Number 4, guys with no friends. Number 3, jealous guys. Number 2 is egomaniacs. So we have the last one of this series. The number one red flag women should look for in men. Coming up next.
More of TJ's Fanatico Podcast is coming up.
If you want to lose weight the safe, effective way, then you need Calotren. Calotren is not a drug, but it's scientifically proven to help you lose weight. Order it today at toploss.com. Toploss.com. It's Calotren.
Sure, it's critical.
Sure.
It's opinionated, but it's fun. It's the TJ Fanatico Podcast.
Sure.
We were doing Boston accents yesterday, and I figured out, you think he's the only guy with a gun? I had to go figure out where that quote came. That's the only Boston thing I can do. It's from The Town. Did you ever see that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love that movie.
Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner.
Uh-huh.
And in one scene, Ben Affleck confronts one of the cashiers. He goes, you think he's the only guy in Westchester with a gun? Or something like that. I went, oh, that's where it is. That's a good movie.
I love that. Mm-hmm. That Jeremy Renner is such a good actor.
I know. You love him.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that show, though.
Huh?
I hate that show.
Kingstown. Yeah. It's too intense for you, right? Isn't that what you said?
No, it was, they killed off my favorite character right out of the gate. And then I got to hear his mom, give lectures on society. It rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. But I love it. It's one of my all-time favorite dramas. It's really good. Mayor of Kingstown. I mean, if you like those types of movies and you're not a complete weenie, then you might like it.
I like the violence. That was good. Don't lecture me.
I love that. Well, she was the only person in the whole thing that was that way. That was, kind of liberal and all that stuff.
Put me to sleep.
Yeah. I didn't like her. I don't like her in person either, that actress.
I'd never seen her in anything else. Is she in a lot of stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay, so the top red flags women should watch out for, and do not date men with these red flags. Number 1, mama's boys.
Yeah.
That's a good one because, we hear wives all the time talking about how their husbands cater to his mom and the mother-in-law takes advantage of that.
Mm-hmm. I could be considered a mama's boy.
Yeah. But if you got married, Riggins, you think you would always choose your mom's point of view or anything over your wife?
No, because things have to change when you get married.
Yeah. So you say that since you are a mama's boy, that's a red flag, and women shouldn't date you?
If they do what you're saying they do.
Yeah.
And I think that probably does happen most of the time because those guys don't make the change in their mind that, oh, no, I can't put mom first anymore, even though she's still putting me first in her life. Mm-hmm. I have to treat my wife as the most important person in the world.
Well, I think in 95% of the cases that it is the fact that the husband/son just wants to have peace. And not only now does he have to please one woman to keep from being griped at, he's got to do that with 2 women. And then when that's impossible, to do something that keeps both of them from giving you hell, they retreat and they, turn into, a lot of people say cowards because they don't want to face their mom.
Yeah.
And say, Mom, you can't do that. You're choosing her, whatever. Yeah. But that also, I think, should come with a religious background, because if the mother-in-law is religious, she should know that when her son marries someone, that becomes the number one person, number one responsibility in his life, even over his kids.
Yeah. But I understand the feeling that a guy has where he doesn't want the confrontation. I totally get, or the fear of what would happen if mom and wife are fighting. I understand the feeling, because that must be terrifying. But you got to make the right choice in those hard times. And it is not siding with your mom.
Okay, what if you were married and your mom clearly was in the wrong about something against your wife?
Yeah.
And your wife told you that she didn't want to ever see your mom again and didn't want you around your mom again. And because a lot of times women will say, if you continue to be friends with this person that I hate or whatever, then that means you don't value our friendship or whatnot. So if she said, it's not supporting me if you continue to be the same with your mom, how would you handle that? Obviously, you're not going to say, okay, I won't see my mom anymore. How would you handle it, though?
I don't like an ultimatum ever.
Yeah.
No one does. But, I would. I might end up not talking to either of them. If mom is definitely wrong. And it would depend on what she did. Like, did she kill somebody? If it was just a disagreement or my mom was being not nice or unkind, then I'd have to go, okay, well, let's have a cooling off period and try to make things work. But I know that's not easy.
Yeah. So you would go and sit down with your mom and say, this was wrong, try to get your mom to come back around.
One thing about my
thought process.
Yeah, when there's drama in my family, my parents are not looking for some kind of summit where we can hash things out. They just want to Let's move forward. Let's see if we can put this behind us. And that's the way it's always worked with whatever comes up. So I think they would probably be fine. But my wife, if she's like, I don't want you seeing her anymore and talking to her, then I'm realizing, oh, my bigger issue is with her. Even if my mom was wrong.
Yeah.
That's going to take care of itself with time. But I got to figure out what I'm going to do about my wife.
Yeah. Well,
but I think it starts with just cooling off for a little bit.
Because, I mean, there are a lot of situations where the wife and the mother-in-law don't get along.
Sure. But the mother-in-law has to realize if she wants to maintain a relationship with her grandchildren or whatever, here's what has to be done. And that knowing that might help you out a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe. But, what if it's clear to everybody except for the son that he has married a she-devil?
Yeah.
And this is a bad move, and she's awful, terrible, and terrible to him, and everybody around him sees it. Then you know how hard that would be for the mother-in-law to then still have to step aside and let the wife be the number one in his life. That'd be very difficult.
It's probably excruciating, but it's not your relationship, and they got to figure it out.
Yeah, and wives should not be mama's girls or daddy's girls either. I mean, the husbands don't, they don't talk about it as much, but if instead of letting your husband take care of things, you immediately call your dad or your mom to do it, then that's kind of demoralizing to your husband. You don't even give him a chance to take care of whatever it is that needs to be done.
But who do you think is harder to live with, a mama's boy or a daddy's girl?
Who's harder to live with? Yeah. I think the wife of a mama's boy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because she's going to be, nonstop holding that against him and making her feelings known of how bad it is and how horrible his mother is and all of that.
Because when somebody uses the term mama's boy, it's not just talking about their relationship with their mother. It's also implying that they are weak, cowardly, just
a baby,
just like a baby. But daddy's girl is not the same. That's just a girl that loves her dad so much, and he's always there for her and supportive. But it's different.
Yeah, but husbands don't want to hear somebody's a daddy. Their wives aren't daddy's girl.
No. I'm your daddy.
Or another one would be to find out there's something really big that has happened in your wife's life. And before she told you, the husband, she told her mom and her dad and her sister, and, you marry the girl, you marry the whole mountain kind of thing. That's the kind of stuff that, that a lot of women do.
Sure.
And
who's the first person you want to share good news with, and it's not your husband?
Right.
Yeah, that's got to be hurtful.
And the ultimate is saying that you're pregnant, or you found out that what sex your baby is going to be, and your family knows about it before your husband does.
I've never heard of that happening.
Oh yeah, it's happened.
Yikes!
Not in my case, but not personally, but I have heard of it.
That's not going to go over well.
No. Not at all. But then some guys are like, I guess I don't need to know anything till I got to do something.
Yeah.
So they look at that as an escape. Like, do whatever you got to do. Leave me alone. I'm watching TV.
Yeah. Can you imagine being one of those guys that are at like the gender reveal parties and they throw like, they look all sad when it's not the gender they wanted in front of their whole family? Like, get a grip, dude. You already had a gender reveal.
Yeah,
try to act.
That's
like
why you ought to be sad because you went to the gender reveal party.
Honestly, crazy.
Have you been to one of those?
Yeah, I've been to a couple.
Yeah. You like it?
No, of course not. And I was like super disrespectful. It was my brother.
It was your brother. Yeah.
Yeah. So I made a scene. Like all day.
Yeah, the drunk uncle out there complaining.
Yeah. Oh, I was just really. In a bad mood.
Would it have been worse if you didn't go rather than that you went and complained about it the whole time?
100%.
Really?
Yeah, because then people come to my defense. Oh, he's just that's what he does. I'm like, no, this is not what I do. This sucks. I don't want to drive all the way out here.
On a Saturday.
Don't do that.
It's the TJ's Fanatico Podcast with TJ and Riggins.
Make sure you check out the Fall Fest at the Stowe Family YMCA on October 25th. Enjoy games, trunk or treat, activities, and more. Wear your costumes and join the fun from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Free for everyone. Get more information at GastonYMCA.org.